Here's my GSXR turbo. It's a K4000cc. There is an older video of it, but it's had a lot of work done to it since then. So starting off with the cosmetics, I'll go over everything. The bits that you can see are K5 forks, Brembo M4 calipers, Hell braided lines, BST carbon wheels, Galfa discs, custom mirrors, the headlights blocked off and it's got Osram bulbs behind it. Turn that, you see I've got an Akaseto master cylinder, Renthal grips and Renthal clip-ons. Got a custom top yoke, a sprint adjustable dampener. Then coming around here you'll see that I've got a gear indicator. This mount here holds a GPS speedo. When you change your gearing and stuff, obviously it's always going to throw that out. There's a boost gauge there, and also got a Akaseto clutch perch. Coming onto the side of the bike, you can see some of the hints that it's got a turbo with the oil rad's been removed, and it's got this oil cooler here instead. Basically what that has is the water from the radiator cooling the oil. You see I've got my dump valve there, and then there's my wastegate pipe and my exhaust pipe down there. Coming across to the engine, you'll see that the casing for the clutch is slightly different. That's because it's got a multi-stage lock-up clutch in it. The main reason for that is normal clutches start slipping after a certain amount of power. Got Gillies rear sets. There's an Öhlins adjustable rear shock, you see there, and there's the adjuster. My swing arm is also K5. Getting onto the rear wheel, you see there's another BST on there obviously. Got a seat cover, stomp grips, tank protector. This actually fell off on the way down here, it worked its way loose, so I've got to buy a new one of them. You see that's slightly raised. So that's the cosmetic stuff mainly covered on it. Coming around onto this side, you see there's my K&M filter, there's the turbo. It's also got a quick shifter on it. Then if you look here, that's my fuel regulator. Coming up, there is, forgot about this part here, this is what changes the speed of the quick shifter gear changes. Then going on to the engine is actually a K1 engine. They're very similar to a K4. It's got Carrillo rods in it, it's got JE turbo pistons. The turbo is a Garrett. It's got a plenum chamber under there. The boost, there's two modes on it, which is 6 psi and 13 psi, and I flick them between there. And at the wheel, that's basically 210 and 280, and I can flick between them. It has kicked out 307 brake on the dyno at the wheel, which gives me just over 350 at the crank, but I don't run it at that, mainly because one, it'll blow up the engine, and two, even at 170s and whatnot, the bike's still putting itself on the back wheel, so there's really no need for it at all. Coming back to the engine, the injectors have been changed over. The injectors are now 3 times bigger. The ECU's been flashed, but it's also got a Power Commander 5 on it. Power Commander 5 is a pressure sensor going into it, so when that boost starts to get higher, the Power Commander can automatically switch over and start to fuel it for that. It's got an external fuel pump and an external fuel filter to pump more fuel into the engine, and that is pretty much the bike covered. With covering up the top half of my plate, see it's got an LED rear in the back, flush indicators, so it's just been tidied up a little bit cosmetically as well. American side stands, some people like it, some people don't. I personally obviously do, but yeah, that's the bike. It's pretty quick. You do have to wait a second for the turbo to build up boost, so like you haven't got it instant there, you have to wait a second for it to come in, but once it's there, it's really good, and it pulls really hard. So yeah, GSXR K4000, lots of trick bits on it, and 350 at the crank if you so wish.